Hello, everybody. This is the weekly focus I've been doing on Northwest hard rock and metal bands from our Rusted Metal book and a few other honorable mentions. This week I'm going to do INJ together, as there's not a ton of bands for those. So first off, I don't have their cassette. I'll try to show a picture. This is Ice, which was a female-fronted band with a couple other gals in it from Seattle. They were kind of mid 80s, 86, 87 range, I think, for a couple of years. Did some demos. Randy Bueller from Slaughterhouse-Five played, and a couple other bands played drums for them. Bret Hartman promoted a lot of their shows up there and was kind of a manager for them, and ended up moving down to LA. They moved down to LA together. Cheryl and Bret was the story he told. Cheryl ended up in an all-female band down in LA, late 80s, Killer Instinct, that played around a good bit, was kind of popular, I guess. Even got a back cover promotion for the three gals of the band in Kerrang, so that was kind of interesting. Don't have that issue, but Brian Nairn, my label co-owner, does. Next band is Igniter, thrash metal kind of band, speed metal. This was their reissue of their cassette EP that Kurt Vanderhoof produced at the time. Corey McMullen is Tom McMullen's brother from Slaughterhouse-Five and War Babies. It's pretty cool. Our friends at Scorpion Metal Records put this out a couple years back, and it's got kind of a nice little gatefolds thing with some promo photos and flyers and stuff like that. Word is there's supposed to be a vinyl pressing of that at some point, so it'll be interesting. These guys were originally a Longview, Washington band. Invader, this is their original CD from, I think, 91. There's a little promotional sheet for them for the songs on it. They, like I said, they're originally Longview, Washington, relocated to Seattle, won the 85 Battle of the Bands at the Linwood Roller Rink Rollaway there, and then had some issues that took them a while to record. I guess they won a recording deal, which the CD eventually came out of. There's a European label that reissued a few years back, reissued that on vinyl, so that's kind of cool. Next is Iron Gypsy, which was a Canada band. I remember Victoria or Vancouver, BC, I forget which. Trio, kind of in the thrash realm. Randy Rampage played bass for a little bit for him. Kind of had some different lineup changes. So those guys were kind of cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Portland band, Iscariot, that was pretty cool. Kind of a goth metal band. Terry Kaiser was the singer. Went on to front Cruella for a year and a half or so, late 80s range, before they went to a three-piece. Guitar player was in Crisis for a bit before he started this. So these guys played around about 83 to 85, 86 range, I believe. They had a tape and at the time, and this is a reissue of that on Stormspell Records. Pretty cool release. Don't have anything from these guys, but Infrared was a band playing around that was pretty cool from Portland. A little flyer for them. What else do we have? There was a band Ictus, hard rock band from formed in 80, I think. They've got a track on this first Kazak compilation. It's a pretty good hard rock, female fronted band. I think they had some demos besides. I don't know if they ever got released. Jinx, that was on this Metal Meltdown 2 comp. They were Todd Breida was the lead singer who kind of had a solo thing for a while and also did some stuff under that. I think they had a full demo tape for James, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, in the Jays besides, these guys are kind of a proggier hard rock. Juggernaut is their 1980 debut, and then this is a couple years later. They kind of revamped the lineup with with singer and the other, I think the guitarist or keyboardist, revamped. Jeff Wade was on drums on this one, who played with Metal Church. When they did that Masterpiece record, he played the shows overseas with them and did some stuff with Kurt for, I think, for Presto Ballet or some Vanderhoof he plays on too. So these guys were kind of in the Styx sort of realm, but they have a couple, especially in the first record, there's a couple heavy Deep Purple type of tracks. Some of it's a little poppy, so it's kind of a mix, a typical of a lot of that. Let's see what else. Just for kind of honorable mentions, not metal, but on the Satyricon album compilation, there's a couple cool local bands, Jackals, and Indigo Zeros are also kind of cool. Just for an honorable mention kind of thing. And then one last thing, it was this is a kind of favorite of mine, was the Judgment Night soundtrack, Under the Jays. This was kind of a mix of rap and hard rock and metal and that sort of thing, but actually has Mudhoney and Sir Mix-a-Lot and Pearl Jam with Cypress Hill as a couple of Northwest bands on there, so that's kind of a neat little thing. Kind of a fun soundtrack. For a few other mentions, we had IBC, Portland crossover band, kind of early period. Impact was a Portland band. They opened up for Rail when Monty Montrose was in the band for that tour cycle, a year or so or whatever. Intensity was kind of a guitar shred driven band, had a couple demo tapes or so from Eugene. Iron Cross guys in Seattle played some shows around mid 80s, Guerrilla Gardens and some of those places. Jagged Dagger was a thrash band, had a demo tape or two out in the Seattle area. Juvenile guys was and forgot his name. Was a singer from Gypsy Rose, which is escaping my name, which we know him, but I can't remember his name. Sorry, man. And Jeff McCormick was on drums. I'll think of it in a minute. Tim Brannan. That was his. And Jeff McCormick was the drummer, went on to be in Q5 and TKO and James Bird's band and so on and so forth. And then Ronnie James Group. Ronnie James was singer of Kidskin for a while, had his own solo thing kind of going around. And then I just wanted to mention, I believe either band ever had recordings. They may have done some original stuff, I think, but wanted to mention Joker, which was Paul Passarelli on vocals with Mike Wilton and for a point Chris DeGarmo on guitars. They competed in the 1979 Lake Hills Battle of the Bands, kind of went through a couple different retools of the lineup, and eventually that kind of evolved into Lipstick with Paul and Brett Miller, who was their light man and kind of crew guy, picked up the bass and started doing that. Jester was the other band, which was the artist for Heir Apparent and Queensryche that we worked with, was a drummer. And Corey Rivers, who was the first singer for Heir Apparent, was the guitarist and singer, and then there was a bass player. A couple of those guys went on to be in Babylon with Jeff Tate after he left Tyrant. So there's a few other mentions from Rusted Metal there. If you, like I said, check out the book. There's more in there. There's certainly some I'm not mentioning, just to kind of leave it. Again, I'm trying to show mostly props I have for the band, so you kind of have something to look at. So, all right, so that's it for this week, and we shall see you guys next week.